Hi everyone, we're Travel with Johnny and Will, and this is our recap of our Day 5 on board Ambassador's Ambition on our UK and Ireland cruise.
So our morning started off by going for breakfast in the Buckingham restaurant. It does feel a lot less chaotic in that restaurant compared to what the buffet is like in the morning. So we've been thankful for that. I basically had my usual Bertram muesli and then a full English.
I had the little oats parfait thing, one of the little smoothies, and cereal and fruit.
Yeah.
It was all really good.
And breakfast was served super quick today. We thought it was going to be a lot busier because we are docked in Liverpool.
That's right, yeah.
And the majority of passengers are getting off. So we actually thought that the restaurant was going to be chaotic, but it wasn't at all.
Yeah, it was almost like the Liverpool people got up early to, get off first, and then we sort of missed that big rush, which was great.
After that then, you went for a dip.
That's right, yes. So as we knew the ship was feeling a little quiet from losing about 800 passengers, we went up to the pool deck. It was lovely and sunny. There was not a cloud in the sky. And yeah, just me and my mum in the hot tub. And it was really good. And thankfully this time I didn't break the little drainage ring that ran around. But yeah. And then after this, I was just tying up little loose ends for the Ambition ship tour, which will be coming to the channel soon, if it's not already out. And if it is out, I'll link it up here.
So it was time to get off and explore in Liverpool. We have been to Liverpool before. We have flown into Liverpool a couple of times. We actually visited once in order to go to see a show in the Empire Theatre.
Yeah.
But we never really seen any more of Liverpool than that.
No, and obviously we've taken the ferry from Liverpool to Belfast, but again...
Never seen anything in Liverpool.
No, no.
So we decided we'd go off and explore. We didn't have anything really planned as such. So then basically, whenever we were heading off the ship, it's worth noting that whenever you come off the gangway, there's quite a long walk sort of forward. Then you then have to go up a steep ramp that sort of takes you over a little bit of water. And then that brings you to a cruise terminal. So it is quite a distance to walk, and the ramp is quite steep. So for those with limited mobility, there is a little kind of van with a lift at the back that they can take you up, put you into the van, and then transport you to that cruise terminal.
And we did see people having that done,
Yeah. So it is good that the port do put that on. Otherwise, a lot of people would be sort of stuck, I think. So once we come into the cruise terminal, there is a welcome desk. We asked, was there any kind of like hop on, hop off sort of bus tours? Because if you've watched our channel for a while, we love ourselves a wee ho-ho tour. And so there was. There apparently are two bus companies that do this. There's a red bus and a yellow bus. And the guy pointed us in the direction of where we would find the sort of tour bus depots, so to speak. And the tour bus depots are actually a double-decker red bus and a double-decker yellow bus. And there's staff working there to sell, you tickets and things.
Yeah, so the tour that we chose was the Liverpool City Sights. And that was the red bus. They had two tours on offer, a city tour, which takes around 50 minutes, and then they had a blue route, which takes 90 minutes. And this also includes a section of the tour that does like the famous places for the Beatles and stuff like that.
Yeah, it takes you to sort of like their home, sort of where they were born and those kind of areas, a bit out of the city centre. So we decided, look, don't get us wrong, we like some Beatles tracks, but it's not as if, we didn't grow up in an era whenever they were big. So therefore, we decided we would just take the city sightseeing tour, basically.
Yeah, the city tour. And that was the red tour. And the prices for this, well, I'll pop onto the screen now. But an adult was £12 and the concessionary rate was £10. And there was also discounts if you were a Blue Lights card member or student or something like that. So 50 minutes, around £12, £10. Pretty good value to us.
So we only had to wait about 5 to 10 minutes for the next tour to leave, which was great. And we jumped on the bus, we rode it for a bit, and again, the audio is all in English.
All in English with a little bit of Scouse wit.
Yes, and a little bit of the Beatles music thrown in for good measure. Why not? You're in Liverpool. And we stopped then at the Metropolitan Cathedral. So we jumped out there, and it's a really strange looking cathedral, which is I think why we wanted to go and visit that one. Just because of its shape and the way the spire goes.
It almost looks like a bonfire and a witch's hat crossed into one, but not quite sure what it is.
Yeah. So it is beautiful inside. It's very modern inside. The stained glass is beautiful. There's lots of different chapels for you to go and look at. And then there is a crypt.
Yeah, it's a beautiful big building, yeah.
And you pay £5 each to go and visit the crypt, which takes you obviously below sort of ground level, and down there's information about the cathedral, how it was built and how it sort of building work started, then because of the war it stopped, and then there's like a treasury they have where they have a lot of relics and things like that and items that they've used, including actually, now I'm not sure what the gown is called, but there was a gown that obviously like so the bishops and things would wear doing mass, and actually Pope John Paul II wore that gown whenever he visited the cathedral. I think it was in 1982, I think I remember the lady saying. So yeah, we went then to visit the crypt, and there's 3 archbishops that have been laid to rest there. Again, a very interesting building, and very beautiful. So I think we spent nearly an hour there.
Yeah. Another thing that was in the crypt, there was a concert hall, and then there was like another big exhibition or hall space off that was the same size as the initial crypt.
Because the guy that sold us tickets even said that apparently they hold concerts there in the crypt.
They can do weddings. There's a beer festival.
And a beer festival once a year apparently.
Yeah,
so
very odd.
Yeah, to hear of the church doing a beer festival, but
yeah, like just the whole like the church for me, in terms of like the architecture and the design and the 16 reinforced columns inside, and then like the way that the columns run outside, there's like an exoskeleton sort of element to it. It was really, really nice.
Spot the engineer, folks. But yes, so afterwards we came back out, we waited for the bus for again about 10 minutes or so, and then we rode the rest of the tour until we got off at the Albert Dock. And that dock is a short distance of walk from the cruise terminal. You can ride it and just obviously go back and do the full loop.
Yeah, it was just one stop before the initial stop that we got on. Now at this point it was very warm.
Oh, it was hot.
Like we were both cooked, and I hadn't drank since breakfast, so I was starting to get hangry. I really just wanted something to eat
and drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were sort of looking around, and we came across a restaurant called The Botanist, and it was super dark looking inside, and we sort of thought, when we walked in there, we checked if there was a gluten-free menu, which there was. They had a great gluten-free menu for Will's mum, and it was super cool in there.
It was
obviously one of the old dock buildings.
Yeah, so it was.
So
it had a nautical theme as well. There was like old artifacts and all around it. Obviously, we didn't take too much footage of this, but yeah, it was nice. And they had a door at one end of the building and a door at the other, and they were open, and there was this breeze running through.
It was beautiful.
So that was probably the main thing about it. It was.
But the food was also good. We actually had some small plates. They do a deal where it's like so many small plates for a certain price, and we both had the sticky Korean chicken, the halloumi fries, and the arancini.
Yeah.
Will's parents had fish and chips, and honestly the fish looked like Free Willy on the board, but it seemed really enjoyable. Your parents really enjoyed it. I also had a cocktail, which I cannot remember the name of now, but it was so tasty. It just tasted like kids' juice.
It was kids' juice, yeah.
So we have a really enjoyable lunch there today in the Botanist. We probably ate too much though, but we still enjoyed it.
Then after this, we made a quick stop into a little sweet shop and just grabbed some items for people at home. And do you know, for me, the whole visit to Liverpool, I'd never sort of experienced Liverpool or seen much about it, but I was really impressed by all the history behind Liverpool. I just didn't expect it to be the way it was. Maybe it was because it was so sunny and nice, but the city like that was presented to us from the routes we were doing, it was very clean. It had these beautiful buildings, like these dock buildings, the Cunard building, like the Liver building. You know, I don't know, it just really impressed me. It just was not what I expected. I don't know what impression I was thinking, but it was.
And the Albert Dock area is beautiful too,
Yeah.
and the red brick buildings and the water, and there's little sort of boat tours you can do. There's a lot of eateries around there and a few shops. So and actually it was really busy, you know. So a lot of people just go down there, really just because it's next to the water, and a lot of people were just chilling out in the grass area and things too. So we checked on back to the ship, and en route we came across obviously the Beatles statue. So of course when in Liverpool we'll get a wee photo of that, and then just headed back to the ship.
Yeah. Now walking down that ramp was harder than walking up it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But luckily the little gangway onto the ship was a lot smaller.
So once we got back on board, we headed to the Cavern Club, which is on deck 7 forward, to meet my mum and aunt. They had spent the day on board, and we just met up with them for a drink and that. Again, we were thirsty with the heat, so we definitely needed those refreshments.
And it was pretty quiet in there and really nicely air conditioned. So unfortunately, as this was our penultimate day, we had to pack. So we had to get that started, so then we could go out for dinner and make sure we had enough time. Now, yesterday, something I didn't say, because we're travelling as a party of 6, my mum and dad and your mum and aunt, and they're on deck 7, we got information that said that they had to disembark the ship at the last time, which was like 10:45. So I went down to reception, requested that they can get off with us, and basically we were handed purple priority luggage tags to put on their bags. And then we were told to bring their bags up to put outside our cabin, and that they would then go off first, and then they could simply walk off with us. So that was really good. We were able to get their time changed because we were traveling as a group, and it was really quick and easy.
Yeah, so tomorrow, generally people have to be out of their cabins by 7:30. However, as a sweet guest, we are permitted to stay in our cabin until our disembarkation time. So, which is good to know. Normally on cruises on our last day we wouldn't go for breakfast, so we would literally be in the cabin until we're being thrown out. But I think because we don't have flights and things to do tomorrow, we'll probably stick around and have breakfast before we leave. So this evening it was time for our last supper in the Buckingham restaurant, sad to say. We've really enjoyed all our meals there so far this week. And our waiters have been great. Our assistant waiter was Akash, and our main waiter was Dafari.
Yeah, Dafari.
Yeah. And they were super guys. So this evening then, I started off with the the broccoli and aged cheddar soup, which was yum. Of course I had to have a little white roll with it, but it was really tasty. And then my main then I had was the pork belly with roast potatoes and veg. And for dessert I had the after 8 mint and chocolate delight, which was lovely. It was like a little chocolate sponge and then a little chocolate mousse layer, a little like minty mousse layer. Mwah.
So to start, I had the roasted beef and pumpkin salad, and it had a little drizzle of sweet chilli on it.
Was it nice?
It was really nice.
I don't think I would like pumpkin.
But it doesn't really have a taste, so it's actually alright. And then I also had the pork belly, which I didn't really rate. The pork itself was nice, but I can't really eat something that's
The fatty bit.
So why did I get the pork belly? I don't know, that was a stupid idea. And then I had the apple and rhubarb pudding, which was really good. It was like an upside down pudding. It was crusty on the bottom, and then like this custard over it. But one thing I do want to say is that my mum obviously is a celiac. I've mentioned this before in other videos, but throughout the entire 5 days that we've had here, the amount of work that's went into, because she had the same after 8 thing that you had. Now, what it looked slightly different, but the effort that went in, that the chefs put into making the same course, but taking the gluten out and the wheat, it's unreal. It was really, really appreciate the efforts that they went to satisfy.
No,
It's really, really
100%.
really good.
Also, the other meals as well. You know, my mum had the bubble and squeak as her main, which was sort of like a bubble and squeak inside a baked potato. And my aunt had lasagna as well. Your mum, for example, if the starter had this cute little Cornish pasty on the plate with like a drizzle of gravy and like a mint, I said like a pea puree.
And that had to be made just one of them or two of them. If
It would depend, depending on who else needs that special diet.
So
but,
it was amazing.
Hats off to the chefs.
So if you watched our last vlog, you'll know that I discovered this secret place on the ship. Well, not really secret. I just don't think many people know about it. That basically looks forward from the ship. So we wanted to take everybody there because I worked out that the sun would be right in front of the ship, so it would make for a good picture. And we just went out there, and it was so... The water was just like so silky and calm, and then there was a big, massive, like, big wind farm, and it was just really peaceful and nice to just be there. Although we were actually being rowdy, there was 2 other people there, and then they left, but it was probably our fault because we were too loud.
Let's hope they weren't looking for a romantic moment, or he wasn't planning to propose or something, because that would have made a lovely setting, but we obviously clearly ruined it if that was the case, so apologies if we did.
But in order to get here, just again, go to deck 8, go to the passenger corridors where the cabins are, and walk forward.
All the way forward, there's a door at the end of the corridor.
That's it.
Yeah. So this evening then we went to the theatre to see our final show of this cruise, which was basically called My Destination. And tonight's show was using all the songs of Simon and Garfunkel. And basically there was a story, it was set on a train, and sort of it told sort of little people's story, like different people's stories throughout, like the salesman, the conductor and things. So they each had a little story to tell, and it was a really good show. It has one of my favourite songs, which is Bridge Over Troubled Water, in it, and that really just gets me in the feels every time I hear it sung, especially if it's sung well. I hate people singing and killing it on a karaoke, but if it's sung well, it's a really beautiful song.
Yeah, the staging tonight was based around a train, and it was just all really quite clever. The staging has been simpler than other cruises we've been on, like they don't have a spinning stage or anything like that, but tonight it was really good quality, and there was a lot of songs where there was multiple vocalists, so it had that like powerful sound, and it was really, really good. Yeah,
there's some great harmonies. So again, folks, if you like going to the theatre, or even if you don't really go to the theatre that often, definitely check out the shows, because there hasn't been a bad one yet.
No, there hasn't.
There really hasn't. I do wish we were on longer, because I could literally go and watch another 2 shows if we were on board for a full week. After the show time then, we went to the Cavern Club. There was a game show on called The Hit List, but we really just wanted to go there. The atmosphere is great in that bar, and we just wanted to go soak up some atmosphere and have a couple of drinks.
Yeah. And just to note, where we sat, as you'll see a little bit of footage I'll put in, we sat literally right at the exit on the left-hand side of the ship. So you could still chat and have a conversation very easily, and obviously as you got closer to the stage, the sound got louder. So it was nice. You were still in it, but you just weren't like right in it.
And then after we had a few drinks there, we decided to go down to the shops before they closed. We wanted to get a few bits and pieces. I don't know why we didn't get them before now, but anyway, we didn't. So we made a quick dash, and your mum bought some earrings. I think his mum has a problem with shopping. Every time she goes into the shop, she has to leave with something. But it's just as well that she's not a shoplifter and she actually buys the things. Otherwise, that would be terrible. But yeah, and we had saw alcohol. We saw vodka that was an offer, and we couldn't resist that. 4-litre bottles of Smirnoff vodka for £45. Like, where else would you get that? So of course we had to have that too.
So all that was left for today was to come back to the cabin, put those final items into the case, and get those cases out.
And then make this video.
Yeah, I'll make this video, yeah. And that's how we spent our day 5 on board Ambassador's Ambition.
Yeah, so we hope you've enjoyed this vlog series. We are going to bring a further video which gives a full review of our experience on board, from the entertainment to the food and dining, service, bars and facilities. Just to sort of get a really good idea of what you can experience here as a passenger on board Ambition.
Yeah, so look out for that video. It should be coming up soon. So if you've liked this video, please consider giving us a thumbs up down below, and click the bell and the subscribe button actually to subscribe to the channel and make sure that you don't miss out by clicking that bell. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.